Hello Senior 1 students. We will take Grammar Unit 2, page 15, page 17, Past Habits and Situations. So today we will compare between used to, is used to, and would. So past habits and situations. We start with used to plus the infinitive. We use this expression to talk about habits or repeated actions in the past, which we don't do in the present. We also use it to talk about states in the past which are no longer true. So we use used to talk about actions that we used to do in the past, but we stopped to do them in the present, or that are no longer existing in the present. So, for example, I used to have long hair, but now I have short hair. So that was in the past, but now it stopped. After used to, I put the verb in the infinitive. He used to smoke, but now he doesn't smoke. So in the past, he used to smoke. This was a habit in the past, but it stopped in the present. They used to live in India, but now they live in Germany. So this expression, we use it to talk about habits or actions in the past, and these actions stopped, or they don't exist any longer in the present. Watch out. With the negative and the question, it's use and not used. Why? Because we use the helping verb did. And when we put did, we have to put use in the infinitive form. So it's no longer used, but it's use. So, did you use to be a teacher? Did he use to study French? So these are yes, no questions. In the negative, she didn't used to like chocolate, but she does now. I didn't used to want to have a nice house. So again, with this used to, we cannot say she uses to have long hair. It's wrong. Why? Because we always use this expression in the past. So we cannot use it in other tenses. So that's why I cannot say uses in the present. It's wrong. It's always used in the past tense. So we cannot put used to in other tenses. We cannot put it in the present. We can't put it in the future. Only it's used in the past simple tense. Then we move to be used to. We use be used to plus verb plus ing. So this is the form after be used to. Of course, be can be am or is or are. And then used to, and then verb plus ing. We use this expression to talk about situations that we were familiar with, or things that we are accustomed to. For example, I am used to getting up early, so I don't mind doing it. It means getting up early is normal for me. I am accustomed to it. It's what I usually do. The other example, my little daughter is used to eating lunch at noon. So she was grumpy yesterday when we didn't eat until 1. It means that that's what she is accustomed to, or that is what she is familiar with. She is familiar with eating lunch at noon. Okay. Now, we make the negative or the question with the verb be in the normal way. The used to doesn't change. So when we wanted to form the negative, we just put not with verb to be, and we leave used to as the same with no change. So Lucy isn't used to staying up late. What we did, we put not, is not used to staying. So verb to be plus not, and used to plus verb plus ing. So she's very tired today. The other example, if we wanted to form a question, again we have to use the helping verb, which is verb to be, am or is or are. Are your children used to walking a lot? We can also use be used to plus noun, which has the same meaning. You understand that after be used to we can put verb plus ing, or we can put a noun. Verb plus ing is a noun too. So we can put verb plus ing after be used to, or we can just put a word, a noun. For example, I've lived in the United Kingdom almost all my life. So I am used to rain. Rain here is a noun. So rain is normal for me. I am familiar with rain. I am accustomed to rain. It's okay for me. That football team always lose, so they are used to disappointment. So again, disappointment here is a noun. We can put the verb be into any tense. So we can talk about things in the past or the future, as well as the present, using this expression. Remember here, I told you with the expression used to plus infinitive, it's only used in the past simple tense. We cannot use it with other tenses. But be used to can be used in all other tenses. We can use it in the present, we can use it in the future, we can use it in the past. So for example, you can say, it was difficult when I first started university because I wasn't used to the amount of work we had to do. So wasn't used to, it means that it's put in the past simple tense. The other example, soon I will be used to driving. So I will be used to driving. It's in the future. In London, and I won't be so frightened. So I can use it with other tenses. Now what about would plus the infinitive? Now here it's a special case of would. Here I can use would plus infinitive to talk about a habit or repeated action in the past. So if I'm talking about an action that is repeated in the past or a past habit, I can only use would plus verb in the infinitive. We usually use would plus infinitive in this way when we are telling a story about the past. So for example, we can say, when I was a student, we would often have a drink after class on a Friday. So this was a habit that I did in the past, and it was like telling a story. When I lived in Italy, we would go to a little restaurant near our house. However, we don't use would plus infinitive to talk about states in the past. So if we are talking about the past, we cannot say I would have long hair or I would live in Scotland. So I can only use would plus infinitive when I talk about habits or repeated actions. But when I talk about states in the past, I cannot use this expression, would plus infinitive. States like what? Like I had a short hair. I used to be a runner. So you cannot say I would have long hair, but you say I used to have long hair. You cannot say I would live in Scotland, because it changes the meaning. If you say I would live in Scotland, it means this is what you want. This is what you want to do. I would live in Scotland. This is what you prefer to do. So it doesn't give the meaning of expressing a habit that happened in the past. Okay? So that's why we don't use it with states in the past, because it changes the meaning, and when it changes the meaning, so it's something else, not this expression that we're talking about. Also, we don't use would plus infinitive with questions or negatives. Again, why? Because it changes the meaning. So, for example, when I say, would you like some tea? So, it's a request. Would you like some tea? So, I changed the meaning. When I say, I wouldn't swim today. So again, it means that I don't like to swim today. So it didn't express that you're talking about a past habit or a repeated action that happened in the past. So we don't use would plus infinitive with states or with questions or negatives. We just use it as it is in sentences. Now let's go back to your book. So again, it's Unit 2, Grammar Lesson, page 17, Past Habits and Situations. For exercise 2, read the learn this box. Are the words in blue in the text past habits or past situations? Now, this first paragraph is cancelled. So this only first paragraph is cancelled. But the rest we have to study. We can use both used to and would to talk about past habits and repeated actions. Would refers to typical past behavior, while used to emphasizes a habit or routine that no longer happens. When we were on holidays, we would get up early every day and spend all day on the beach. See here, I used would plus verb in the infinitive to talk about a story or a habit that happened in the past, and I was like telling a story to someone. But the expression used to plus infinitive, I used to cycle everywhere when I was younger. It means that, but I don't cycle much now. So it means that I'm talking about something that happened in the past and it stopped right now in the present, or it didn't happen now, it doesn't happen now in the present. Past situations, we use used to when talking about situations and states in the past. We can't use would in this way. So for example, Jack used to live in Manchester. It's a state. and we said that we don't use would with states. Mr. Taylor used to be an actor. Again, we have to put used to, and we cannot use would. My dad used to have a motorbike. Exploit exercise 1. There are mistakes in 4 of the sentences. Find the mistakes and correct them. So you can take your time to answer the exercise. You stop the video and then you can play it back to know the answers or to check your answers. Number 1. We would have a dog, but it died 2 years ago. So there is something wrong here. Instead of would, we will use used to. So we used to have a dog, but it died 2 years ago. Number 2, Mom always made sandwiches for us for our school lunches. So this sentence is correct. Number 3, Maria used to have an important meeting with her boss last week. Okay, I'm talking about last week and have an important meeting. So I can only use the past. So I can say Maria had an important meeting with her boss last week. And never mind about the sentence because you remember we already cancelled this paragraph. So don't worry about this one. Number 4. Anne would live in Istanbul when she worked in Turkey. So of course live in Istanbul, it's a state. So we cannot use verb would and infinitive with states. That's why we have to change would and instead we put used to. So Anne used to live in Istanbul. Number 5. I would go to bed early and read adventure books when I was a child. It's definitely correct sentence. Number 6. My brother always cycled to school. It's correct. Number 7. My grandmother often cooked pizzas for all the family. Again, it's correct. Number 8. My uncle would be overweight, but now he has lost 6 kilos. So again, it's a state. Instead of would, we have to use used to. So my uncle used to be overweight. Let's check the answers. Okay, used to and be used to. Used to is followed by an infinitive and only refers to past habits and situations. I used to travel every summer. What about be used to? It's followed by an ing form and refers to habits and situations that we become or have become familiar with. For example, when I lived in London, I was used to driving on the left. So I became familiar on driving on the left. The other example, he has studied Arabic for 5 years now and he is used to writing from right to left. He is accustomed to it. Exercise 2. Complete the sentences with the infinitive or ing form of the verbs in brackets. Number 1 is already answered. My grandparents used to go to school on Saturdays. Number 2, It's always raining here, but I am used to having, because here I have verb to be, used to, and verb plus ing. Um, it's verb live. I am used to living in a wet country. Number 3. My brother didn't like it at first, but now he is used to again. Is used to, I have to put verb plus ing. Working. So he's used to working in an office. 4. Did your dad used to smoke cigars? 5. He didn't use to have a car, but now he has got 2. 6. I am used to writing in Japanese, but speaking is difficult. Let me show you the answers. And that's the end of the lesson.